Everyone, thank you for waking up with us here on First 4. I'm Claire Kellett in for Justin Andrews, right alongside meteorologist Leah Hill. For a quick look at the forecast, some folks seeing rain this morning, but for the most part, mild start to the day.
Mild, a little bit cooler, and a lot of dry weather for today. Yeah. I think it'll be lovely for going outside. But for the moment, there are some showers. They're generally staying to the south, but they're impacting parts of Crawford, Washington, moving through Phelps County. And then a thunder shower is going to swing into Reynolds County and Iron County within the next hour or so. In general, I expect any morning showers to stay south of this line, and they'll quickly fizzle out over the next couple of hours. But you can see Viburnum getting a little bit of rain. We have a thunder shower over Rolla, and then this slightly smaller cell that's a little bit stronger. I'll see how that holds together its intensity as it swings into Reynolds County. Again, it's not very strong, but it is producing a heavy downpour briefly, and it also has a little bit of lightning with it. There are some severe storms down south in Arkansas where they're south of this boundary. I am watching this boundary closely as it swings our way on Monday, or in fact late tonight into Monday. This is going to set the stage for some storm potential. Can't rule out some strong or even severe storms. Monday's a first alert weather day, and Tuesday as well. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s. A nice mild start when you head out this morning with cloud cover overhead and showers staying to the south. I expect us to fall a couple more degrees, but by 10 a.m. we're warming it up again at 65. First alert weather day on Monday. We have 2 rounds of storms, a morning round and an afternoon and evening round. Some of these could be strong. This does not have the same signals as what we had this past weekend, as what we had on Friday. So it's a very different risk. And then Tuesday's risk, much lower. It's a conditional threat. If the storms develop even, they may be strong. I'll talk about both of these days coming up in my first alert forecast.
Yeah, we certainly have a lot to get to, Lee, and we will talk again soon. Right now, we do have to get to breaking into the conversation. It seems like, it doesn't matter what street you were in or what area you were in the midst. If you were in the midst of that, all the video we see, we all just go, whoa. Whoa, I mean, each one just showing how strong, how powerful the storms were.
And what's incredible is that the storm really only impacted each area for maybe a minute.
Yeah, you were talking about how fast.
Moving.
Yeah.
It's formed 2:41 p.m. Within 10 minutes, it was crossing the river, so it didn't last long. But as you can see, tornadoes don't need to last long to have a lasting impact, and that is certainly something that we are experiencing here. I actually have some updates coming up in a moment about the damage path of that tornado. It rated at least an EF3. We're dry right now, overcast skies, but to the south there are some showers rolling in, and I expect them to stay south of this line. So a few showers might skirt the southern edge of Jeffco and Franklin County. Otherwise, it's mainly Reynolds and Iron County, Phelps, Washington, Crawford, and that gets hit with a little bit of rain. And one thing you can see within the last 30 minutes, it's really begun to fizzle. This storm that hasn't quite moved in had a little bit of red. Now it's showing more orange, so it's weakening upon its approach. I am also tracking a boundary that's down to the south. Notice south of this boundary, there's a severe storm in Arkansas. In fact, once this swings northward late tonight into early Monday, some storms are possible. A few could be strong, producing a bit of hail, even a little bit of wind. And then later, rounds of storms expected Monday and Tuesday. Those days are both first alert weather days. And you're going to track the morning rain that we're seeing right now. Again, primarily staying south, and I do think this model is overcooking it just a little bit. The showers are starting to shrink in their coverage, but at least gives you a good idea of the timing. By 9 o'clock, any lingering rain will be very, very isolated. We have some dry time through the day for most areas. Maybe another shower hitting us down to the south, or a thunder shower later this evening, with most staying dry and actually getting a bit of sun today. More storms expected tonight and then again tomorrow. That's why we have those first alert weather days. Quick update about the damage survey results. These are preliminary. The National Weather Service, they're the ones that go out and assess the storms. They're heading to Illinois and assessing damage around Granite City to see how long this path truly is. But it started around Clayton just after 2:40 p.m. but EF0 and EF1 damage was found in Clayton. And then it moved along the northwest side of Forest Park. We saw extensive damage there. The St. Louis Zoo damage, that wasn't caused by the tornado. That was actually just straight line winds from the storm. But even winds can cause, in some cases, just as much damage as a tornado. Now, it strengthened in its intensity as it approached the Kingsway East neighborhood, the Ville. That was where some of the worst damage was found in North City. EF3 damage. It continued to move east where it eventually crossed the river, and its path likely takes it into Illinois. So what we know right now, max winds at this point around 150 miles per hour. At times, the width of that tornado was a mile, and the path length at this point, at least 8 miles, but that is likely to be expanded into Illinois. For right now, 61 degrees with cloudy skies overhead, and temperatures today rising to near 80. Some clouds will begin to break a little bit, and we get a little bit more sun. Very light winds, mid 60s at 10, mid 70s by 2. Still in the mid 70s after we cool things off later this evening. In comes the warm front. This is what I'm watching to fuel some storms tonight. Some could produce a bit of wind and hail. Additionally, very heavy rain is in the forecast. That front clears. It stalls to the north, and if we can get enough instability to build, we have to watch for stronger storms Monday night into Tuesday. This is the primary reason for the first alert weather day, and this is where the risk comes in. This is for Monday afternoon and evening. Threat level 3 risk out of 5 just off to the west. The strongest storms, again, there's still some questions about how strong they will be. Will we have enough instability and shear? But that could produce some wind, some hail, and there even is a bit of a tornado threat, especially the further west that you go. St. Louis in that threat level 2 risk out of 5. And then for Tuesday, St. Louis in the threat level 2 risk out of 5. As storms are possible. It's a very conditional threat. It's only if we can get those ingredients coming together on Tuesday, then we could see a couple stronger storms, but there's a lot of uncertainty regarding Tuesday's risk. Monday's risk, again, some storms are possible. It doesn't have the same intensity as what we had on Friday, but it's something that I want us to watch regardless. We clear things out Wednesday morning. A couple dry days ahead of rain developing next weekend.
All right, Leah, a lot to get through. Thank you for all of that. We'll still have this morning.
I am tracking. The great news is that they've really fizzled out. This is a loop over the last hour, and you can see that the rain that was a little bit more intense by the yellows and the red, that's all gone. It's fizzling out as it's moving through our area. So a few drops are likely being felt for areas down to the south, and there's one tiny thunder shower. In general, I expect the rain to stay south of this line and within the next couple of hours. In fact, by 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at the latest, we're enjoying some dry time. Reynolds County about to get hit with this thunder shower. It's just produced a couple lightning strikes within the last couple of minutes. I can only count 3 here. And the rain, I expect it to undergo a continuing trend where it begins to fizzle out. So the intensity of that even is starting to weaken as well as it moves into bunker. Bigger picture, we have the stationary boundary down to the south actually producing some strong storms in Arkansas. This heads our way late tonight. We have to watch for it to fuel some storms, in particular off to the west tonight, but we could get hit with a couple of storms that are on the stronger side of things as it moves in as a warm front. Monday, Tuesday, first alert weather days as several fronts come through the area. These are very different risks and don't have the same intensity as what we had on Friday, but it's still a risk that we have to watch nonetheless. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s right now. 55 Warrenton, 61 here in St. Louis, Alton, Illinois at 56 degrees. I'll have more details about the first alert weather days coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Leah, we'll chat again soon. Right now,